conclusion of our gathering will be words set to music by Martha and Rick Hessler and a song for Fred. When that concludes, we're asked to gather at a reception here in the hall. Maria asks that any of you who haven't inscribed your names in the guest book do so then. And also in conversations among us, many of us strangers to each other, though the thread that ties us together is Fred, it's been suggested that we might introduce ourselves by sharing something that Fred told us that we remembered. Or else some word that we couldn't get in edgewise that we wish Fred had heard. My role in this has been a small but welcome one to mark the beginning and the end of the service. We get many lessons in mortality through our lives. And at a certain point in our life, I think it's the point at which our youth, we realize, is now the past. The lessons are given to us by the deaths of our companions and friends. And when I was thinking about the lesson that Fred's death had given, I went to Shakespeare, as I often do, in moments of desperation. And I went to Hamlet. It's a story of a young person, but I realize you have to be old to understand it. And one of the tragedies in that play is at the very end, and it's not what you see on the stage, but what you hear, and it's Hamlet saying that the rest is silence before he dies. And he's just asked his friend to be sure to tell his story. But as my first teacher of Shakespeare reminded me, his friend doesn't know the story. Hamlet spends all this time talking to himself. He never talks to anyone else. The friend doesn't know. And I thought about how terrible it would be for there not to be a story, for there to be silence at the end. And so when Adam mentioned his dad's wish, we know Fred's story. We have that new obligation to the memory we carry to pass that along. And I think that's the best cure for our sorrow.